Hello, hello, hello. Good evening, good people. Welcome to Not Right, Not Wrong, everybody's favorite podcast, making opinions cool again. Um, Welcome to season five, episode one of Not Right, Not Wrong. Cinco. With me today in the place to be is the dark one. How are you, Dark Mark?
Happy New Year's. Happy New Year. I don't know why people add the S when they say that. I gotta be conscious of that. Happy New Year, D1. Happy New Year, JJ. Although we've all spoken since January has come about. It is a pleasure being here. Good seeing you. Looking forward to this topic to kick off season 5. Uh, it's a
Word.
blessing as always. I'm ready.
Yes, yes, yes. Happy New Year to you too. I think we grew up saying Happy New Year's. It was like Happy New every year to come, almost, but here
Yeah,
we are.
yeah.
Yep. So Happy New Year, brother Mark. Hello, just Ja in the space, in the place to be. How are you, my brother, my friend?
Yes, yes, yes. Chilling, chilling. Everything. Happy New Year to you guys. Uh Looking forward to this new season 5. Man, we've been in this game for a minute now. Time be flying, but I'm looking forward to more talks. I'm looking forward to getting educated tonight. It's gonna be an interesting topic tonight, so I'm ready to go. Salute to everyone. Salute to everyone at 92.6 to Spit Out. And as always, anything above sea level, you dig.
You dig. You dig. This is what we call consistency. This is what it looks like. 5 seasons in and still going.
Mhm.
This is it. So we're on our fifth season. We said it. We're going to keep saying it. It seems like a good opportunity for me, brothers, to reintroduce ourselves to the people who have been here for a while, to the people coming in the door, come in, sit down, get cozy.
Mm.
Um, and let's chop it up a little bit. One thing that I think we all want our listeners and watchers to know is that Not Right, Not Wrong is not your typical podcast. We are not chasing trending topics
At
that
all.
at all, at all. That is not our bag. We may talk about something that hit the papers or something, but that's not going to be our focus. We never going to do that. We're never, whatever you see showing up all over your social media feed, that's generally not what we're doing here. So just so that you know, we are coming in this space. We are all in our 50s, right? We're all grown. We all have a lot of life experience. And so we're coming in this space to discuss topics that have a little bit more grit to it, that have a more importance, that have some social consequence to it. So that's what you're here for today. You're not going to get, it's not going to be boring. It won't be dry. We will laugh. We will joke. We'll be irreverent. We'll all of those things.
And go to the gas station.
And go, ain't nobody going to the gas station. Nobody. So that is who we are as a podcast. And I just want to introduce myself as a person. If you haven't been here before, or maybe you have and you're a little bit curious about who is Tamika, let me tell you who I am. So I am the daughter of Marilyn and Donald. What that means is I can almost as easily start the party and be the life of the party and maybe break up the party with a fight as I can sit back and watch. I can sit back in the cut and watch. That's the epitome of being the daughter of Marilyn and Donald. I can come with the rah rah, or I can sit back in the cut. I'm a mom of three. I call myself a hopeful romantic. Um, I,
Oh,
I am not hopeless, not hopeless, hopeful romantic. I love love. And I have a few relationships under my belt to show it. I got evidence of it. And generally, when I'm coming into this space, the topics that kind of are of most interest to me are anything having to do with mental health, anything having to do with love and relationships. Those are the topics that kind of really get me going. So that's Tamika. Ja, tell the people who you be.
It's the Just Ja, aka Jaja. That is my government. It's not a nickname. That was my government that my parents gave me. Yes, it's not a nickname. Brooklyn born, Bronx raised. I identify myself as bi-borough. You know what I'm saying? So I got Brooklyn in me. I got Bed-Stuy Brooklyn in me. I got Soundview Bronx in me. Uh,
holla.
yeah, first generation American, born to Jamaican parents who were talented performing artists. Uh, Mother was a dancer, choreographer, poet, and a visual artist. My father was a dancer, choreographer, a poet, playwright, producer, and director. So immensely talented parents. So I have that in my DNA, although I do uh, know that I need to utilize it more. I don't utilize it as much, but it's in my DNA, trust me. You know what I'm saying? But also, I too am a father. I am a girl dad to a teen daughter. Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
prayers, prayers.
Yeah. And so outside of this, outside of these YouTube streets, I have an IT career. I'm an IT professional, and I am pro-black. I love my people, uh,
All day.
and what I bring to this podcast is insight, thought-provoking topics, and some fun topics here and there. And that is me, Just Ja. And when I'm in the party, I stay in the cut.
Bruh, that's not true. Because I got documentation that says otherwise.
Oh yeah, she does have receipts. Yes, yes, yes.
Hmm.
Well, I had to because it was my moment to shine on that day, so
Had to.
had to not, yeah, I had no choice but to not stay in the cut. But usually, when I'm going to Demaravas and Bentleys, I'm usually in the cut. Back in them days,
That's right. And Nels.
if you know, you know.
Don't stop.
Get it?
Let
Get
me
it,
see
get
you.
it. Listen, but John, you
I'm
didn't.
playing.
I don't want to out you or anything, but you didn't share my favorite fact about your father.
Oh, yes. My father is an actor. How could I forget that? My father is an actor, and he appeared in cult classics such as The Last Dragon. He was in that movie, yes, and he was also in a Madonna movie called Who's That Girl? Yes. So my father, yes, he's an actor. He was an actor as well. Rest in peace to Thomas Pinnock.
Rest in
He
peace.
is, he is chilling with the ancestors now, but yeah, lived a
Rest in
great,
peace.
lived a very creative life. Salute to him.
Salute, salute.
Salute.
If anybody knows me, they know my love of Last Dragon is heavy, 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 heavy.
Uh,
So thank you, Ja, for that lovely reintroduction.
mhm.
Dark Mark, what you got for us? Who are you?
Hello, 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 everyone. Come on, come on. That sounds nice to say, right? Bonjour, buen dia, bon appetit. all that fun stuff. So my name is Mark Mills. Of this trio we call Not Right, Not Wrong. I love food, love music, love music, love learning. I love sharing what I've learned, um, reading a lot. Too many things to go into in regards to my likes. As you can plainly see, I am handsome. Been a handsome for some time. I am handsome today. Tomorrow, I will still be handsome. Um, that won't
What about
change.
Saturday? What about Saturday?
Saturday, definitely, I'll be handsome
I got you.
for sure.
Uh,
Twice on Saturday.
Twice
I'm
on Saturday. Let them know, okay?
I'm from the X as well as D1 and Ja. D1 and I from the same building, uh, on Webster Ave. What else?
Well,
I am a father of one. My daughter, she's 24 years old, 24, for those who wanted to hear some Spanish. 24 and counting. I am the son of my mother and my father. So you all know how that works if you're good at biology and how I got here. My contribution to this gym right here is probably a little bit of everything. Normally, my topic lean more towards something of humor, um, just to kind of take the edge off of things sometimes, because we need a little laugh or something to lighten the load and keep with everything that may be going on in this world. So try to bring some joy to it. I pray for joy for myself and that I'm always have it to share with the rest of my comrades here on this show. I'm a Pisces. My birthday is in February. Based on my understanding, they say Pisces are the best in bed out of all of the zodiac signs, which is true. So it is what it is. Um, I could go on for days and days if I could
I
just.
think we're good. We might be good.
D1, why you squinting? You squinting again? You squinting?
But
Why you squinting?
yeah, that's the reintroduction. For those that don't know already, now you know who joining. Subscribe, do all that fun stuff. We're everywhere, 92.6, YouTube, app, everywhere you name it, you get the podcast, you'll get Not Right, Not Wrong.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Miss the handsome one. The
De
handsome.
nada.
Oh, okay. Okay. We got a you're welcome. And I mean, thank you in the space.
Yeah, come on.
Okay. So what we're going to talk about today, brothers? Oh, yes. Like, share, subscribe, share, subscribe, comment, all of the things.
All
Thank you.
of it. All of it.
Don't be
All of
shy.
it.
Cost you
It
nothing. Don't be shy. Cost
don't
you
cost a thing. Our love don't cost a thing. So today, my brothers, I wanted to talk about generational wealth. Now, this topic here is a little bit of a tough one, for me personally, because I feel like I started off life like in my 20s. I feel like I started really good. I started good. I avoided credit cards and credit card debt and all of those things. And I was super responsible in saving and savings accounts and stocks and all kinds of things. And when I started to have children, putting money away for the kids, I was doing the thing. Credit score crazy, was out of this world. My credit cards, they were knocking at my door to give me
Mm,
what? 0%
mm,
APR. My credit
mm.
cards had like, there was not a card that I had that was above 2.9%. And if you tried to give me 2.9% above that, I'm like, you don't know who I am.
Uh-oh. Put
nothing.
some
Hey,
respect on your
Oh,
name.
hey.
my respect. Get that card out of here.
Come
Scram
on
with
now.
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
Scram.
Kick
Um,
rocks.
Listen, kick rocks. I was a master out in the street, out in these financial streets. Um, Not to say that I had a lot, but I was smart with the way that I was moving it. Okay, fine and well. Um, into stage left, student loans, undergraduate degree. I was smarter with my graduate degree. I got away with my graduate degree. I didn't have any student loans for my graduate degree. I got smarter. Okay, fine and well. But a divorce here, a separation there, a bad decision here, an emergency here. Things start to shake up a little bit. And so this topic for me, it comes with some emotions, like it comes with some shame and some guilt. And I think that's relatable. I think whenever we talk about wealth and finances and savings and things of that nature, there are a lot of emotions. There's guilt, shame, frustration, confusion, resentment, anger, fear, sadness, failure. Maybe there's some happiness, maybe there's some satisfaction, maybe
It's a
there's some
lot.
pride, right? But there's a lot of emotions, I think, that that we have to unpack, to kind of get to the intellect of finances and of what it looks like to save. And then there are certain mindsets, right? There are certain mindsets where you may have maybe you grew up in a household where you heard your family saying, you can't take it with you, might as well spend it. What you keeping it for? Right? Or other people might have grown up in households where you're like, oh, squirrel it all away, don't spend it, save it for a rainy day, all kinds of things like that that may have you looking at money in a different way. Maybe you have a mindset of abundance. Maybe you have a mindset of, I'm going to spend it, I'm going to use it, it's going to come back to me, I'm going to donate it, I'm going to put it in this 401k. Money is abundant. Money is abundant. It's always coming to me. Maybe you have a mindset of scarcity. I can't get enough. I'm working 2 jobs. I'm working 2 jobs and a side hustle. I'm walking dogs. I'm doing all of this thing. And as much as I make money, money is burning a hole in my pocket. I can't keep it. As soon as I get it, something happens. Maybe you have health issues that have you in the doctor's office on a regular basis and you need medications and all kinds of things. And so, life is treating you in a little bit of a different way. Maybe you're taking care of your parents, right? We're all here a particular age. Our parents are getting older. Maybe we're taking care of our children, trying to get them through college. Maybe we're taking care of our parents, trying to make sure that they're healthy and happy. Maybe, like me, you've been divorced or separated, and maybe that hit your finances in a particular way. Maybe you made some bad decisions. So I just want to acknowledge all of that that's in this space when we talk about generational wealth. I also want to acknowledge that as a community, we have a mindset towards generational wealth, but our community's generational wealth has literally been burnt to the ground. It's been taken away. It's been covered up. We've been systemically and systematically kind of separated from our finances and from our wealth. So all of that, I want to honor all of that in this space when we talk about generational wealth. And so I guess I'm curious on, what does that even mean to you? What does these 2 words, when you put them together, what does generational wealth mean? And what are you doing about it? John, I'm gonna start with you. What does it mean and what are you doing about it?
Generational wealth to me means passing down to your child to make them more comfortable than you were, at least from a financial standpoint. Um, Generational wealth, I I believe for a lot of us, in my opinion, is challenging because, um, in my opinion, collectively right now we're behind the eight ball, where we have to we have to reach a hand back to help, and also want to promote or execute generational wealth. We have to also reach our hand forward to pour into our children so they can have a more comfortable life, and then we have to reach our hand back to help our parents because our parents are in dire financial straits, so we have to take care of them. So we're stretched from opposite ends. We want to pour into our child so they can live better and be comfortable, but then we don't want to leave our parents hanging or out there to waste, because there's an obligation that we have to our parents because our parents raised us and cared for us. And so it's very challenging for someone who is trying to accumulate and create financial abundance, because to your point, in some people's cases, whatever windfall they receive, it automatically gets extracted both ways because there's a lot of people they have to take care of. Um, so for me, I am attempting to accumulate wealth by way of stocks investing. I start small and trying to build up. I attempt to do that by way of retirement plan, um, opening up an IRA. I intend to open up an IRA. I don't have one yet, but I intend to do that, and also life insurance. So those are my ways that I intend to um, execute generational wealth, so my daughter could live comfortably in her lifetime for the remaining of her lifetime once I transition. So I'm using the opportunity to execute those actions now.
Yeah. Thank you, Ja. Thank you. Is there anything that got in your way so far? You said you intend to open up an IRA. What are some of the barriers that you faced?
Um, the my earning potential, the amount of money I earn, and which clashes with the expenses. Sometimes the expenses exceed the earning. So for me, concentrating on keeping up with the expenses, the bills, and other expenses, and also situations that come up unexpectedly that you don't you don't anticipate, the unanticipated expenses that come up. Uh, that's occurred many times for me. So it does pose a challenge for me where I don't have I'm not going to have free money to invest or open up an IRA. So those are the challenges. So it's earning earning enough, but when I earn enough, there's still those expenses. They're not going anywhere. And then also there's the also also the bad decisions, the emotional decisions
Mhm.
that that I impulsively make because I want this particular thing, or I need this particular thing to get done. So as a consequence, it drops my credit score because I have to get this done. I have no other means. I have nothing liquid to take care of it right now, or I don't want to take from a place where I'm trying to save and build. So I use the credit card, right? That and that creates a financial consequence. That's not good. So so all those things that you brought up in the beginning, definitely relatable because I have experienced just about all those things from an emotional standpoint, from a decision standpoint where It was not necessarily the smart thing. So my credit score drops, fluctuates, it drops, and then I'm back to square one trying to rebuild. So I'm very familiar with that road that you're talking about.
Yeah, that's real talk. It's real
Yeah.
talk.
Patrice is about to come in.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Are you letting her
Yeah,
in now?
yep,
Okay.
yep.
I like how D1 said that's real talk.
It is real talk.
Mm-hmm.
Just giving Patrice a minute.
For
Mm-hmm.
sure.
There you go.
Yes. Yeah, she is. Hello.
Yes.
Hello, hello.
Hello.
Hello, hello, hello.
How y'all doing?
I'm well. I'm well. Welcome to our
Good.
show. Happy to
Thank
have
you
you
so
here.
much. Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
Yeah, no worries. All good.
Good, good. I hear you talking about generational wealth. That's why I'm here.
Yes, ma'am.
Listen, wait, hold on. Patrice, like I think I'm supposed to give you a professional welcome into the space.
Oh,
But I
okay.
also just want to say, hey girl, hey.
Hey girl, hey. Hey.
I gotta give you a hey girl, hey. Welcome to the space, Patrice. This is Just Ja. And we have Dark Mark. I don't know where they are in connection to you in the boxes, but that's Mark. And John, Mark, this is Patrice. Patrice has a special place in my heart because she is definitely one of the people who will gather me really quickly, very quickly, very sweetly. Also super relatable, just as a person and as a human. So I very much appreciate her for that. But she is here today a little bit in a financial capacity, in a professional capacity. And so, Patrice, I just want to give you an opportunity to introduce yourself. We were just in the midst of sharing a little bit about what our experience is around building generational wealth and what some of our challenges are. And Ja just opened it up a little bit and told us about what some of his goals are and some of the challenges being life happens. And even though sometimes you're trying to build wealth, emergencies come up, or maybe, you got more month at the end of your money, right? So the ends are not meeting kind of thing. So he introduced that part for us. Do you want to introduce yourself into the space?
Sure.
Okay.
Sure. So, yes, I just want to start out by saying thank you all for having me, but I do have a special place in my heart for Tamika. Yes, she talks about gathering. We gather each other if that's the case, because you get me straight in a professional and loving and friendly way. So I really appreciate that. I relate to you as well. We are both mothers. So it's just a good sisterhood, and I really appreciate you. So again, my name is Patrice, and so I kind of got into this field. I'm gonna tell you, it's gonna be brief, but I'm gonna try to give you a full story. So I got into this industry by happenstance, if you will. I was recently married, and statistics say that one of the number one reasons, top three reasons for getting divorced is finances. So I wanted to uh, me and my husband to kind of get our finances on one page. We sat down with someone who happened to be my cousin, and he taught us some financial principles. And at that time, I was embarrassed and infuriated because I was well into my 30s and college educated. Not that that means anything, except for I paid for an education. I feel like if you pay for an education, you should have something, right? And
Indeed.
when he just told us some simple concepts about money, I was just blown away. I was like, what in the world? How have I gone this long in my life, gainfully employed in a decent job, and not know these principles, right? So as a result of that, I inquired about how to get licensed and make some money, and that's how I came here. I'm a liberal arts major. I did have and still do obviously have aspirations to have my own business, which I do now, but that finance and all of that wasn't in my lane. So I kind of happened upon this, and in doing so, I developed what I'd call a ministry, if you will, to help educate other people. Because while I don't think I'm the end all be all, what I do know is that I'm intelligent, and I was gainfully employed and college educated, and I didn't know. And I'm Black on top of that, right? And I felt like I wanted to minister to my people. Now, just for the purposes of this podcast that's going to be aired everywhere, listen, I will help whatever color you are, right? As long as your money's green, I will help you, right? But I do have a special place in my heart for people of color, because I do, and there are facts to back this up. I feel like we were left out of the discussion of how to build wealth. So again, I'm licensed. That simply means that I have a life insurance license and securities license. I'm Series 6, 63, and 65 licensed. I'm licensed in 13 states. So I am, I've been in this industry licensed since 2006. So I know a little something, and I'm happy to share. So that's a little bit about me. I hope does that answer everybody's question? If you have any questions in reference to how I got in the industry and those kind of details, I'm happy to address those.
No, I love it. That sounds good.
Yeah, thank you.
You're more than welcome. So
Patrice.
Are you leading me with questions, Miss Tamika?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. I'm gonna go ahead and take over. And just brothers, if Patrice looks a little bit familiar to you, she has been called the doppelganger of Taraji. So she might look a little bit familiar, and that's why.
Definitely.
Wow.
Without question. Without question.
Yeah, I see it. Yeah.
Without question.
I see it. Yeah.
Yes. So Patrice, I'm gonna ask you to sit back for a little bit and just listen. Because I'm sure some of what we share is gonna sound very familiar to you. I'm sure you've heard a lot of stories, and they probably fall in various categories, the same types of categories. So I just want to check in with Mark. Mark, how do you describe generational wealth, and what are you doing to build it?
So the first thing that came to mind when you said that you was going to be discussing generational wealth, I thought that it was situational. So a lot of times when we come on here and we speak about these different topics, often I'll say that's self-definitive. So I can't define generational wealth for either one of you. My definition may be different than yours. It may be different than John's. So generational wealth to me, it may not necessarily be the actual money or the money that you can touch. When I think of generational wealth, I think of the knowledge. Just for conversation's sake, let's say I may not have anything to offer my daughter other than my time. But during the course of this time, I may be educated enough to listen, you need to have this, your credit need to be this, you need to get A, B, C, and D. And she's taking these knowledge, she's listening. You understand? So I might not be the generation to have anything to pass down to her, but she took liberties and took this education and everything to say, you know what, my dad makes sense. I want to do A, B, C, and D. So I could do it for my child. So she just learning all the things that she needs to do based upon her age as she continues on and even on into her winter years to say, wow, I'm financially secure. So it all depends how you define it. Now, for me personally, at the same time, I'm learning all these things. I'm passing it down to her. We sit down, we have these conversations about money. Now, everybody's going to define money differently. Now, we're from the same building. We grew up, our parents was always banks. Put everything in the bank. Go to the bank. Put this money in the bank. Keep it in the bank. So it was not too many mentions of what you should have at home. And then during the course of us, maybe in our 30s and 40s, and things started happening, people start to build a distrust towards banks. But we wasn't taught to distrust banks. This happened in our youth and us growing up. So now, as people used to always say, what you got under the mattress? You got to have something there under the mattress for emergency. So what I'm supposed to do with that money? Then at the same time, you'll hear people say, well, listen, you shouldn't have nothing at home because it's not accruing any interest. So then all these different words start coming in your vocabulary and you start to question yourself, but damn, maybe I'm making the wrong decisions. You understand? And someone may be telling you that you are, but you have to define that for yourself. And I think also with generational wealth, you may need to have a goal in mind. How much do you want? How much do you want to have? How much do you want your kid or kids to have? Some people don't want their kids to have anything. Now, God forbid I transition, you know, my daughter, she gonna be good, but what is she going to do with that? Just go and then blow it and go out and buy like a jet or something? Who knows?
Wait, you leaving enough money that she
No,
could
no,
buy
no.
a jet? Hold on
It's
now.
just for conversation's sake. But I'm saying that more so to say that I won't know, I'll be gone. But generational wealth, it'll be different to different people. But I would like to say that whatever it is I'm learning, I'm passing down to her so she can make smart decisions. And I don't, it's less about what I leave her and more about what she does. So, you know, like I said, she's 24. So she's starting to learn credit cards, what that can do. It's a gift and a curse, as we all know. She has some money in the bank. All right, open this and then the APL, all these different things that we learn later. I think generational wealth means that we teach the kids earlier. I think that has a huge part in this definition. Don't wait for us to educate ourselves because you know our parents was bank, everything bank, go to the bank, get this money out the bank. We just teach them a whole lot earlier so they can make these decisions. That's what I think generational wealth is.
Yeah. Thank you for putting that in a space. And I think you touched on a few things that resonate for me. Um, when you think of just the word generational by itself, makes you think of leaving something for your children.
Mm-hmm.
And if you don't have children, then what? What am I building? What am I saving for? Am I building wealth for retirement so that I can be comfortable in retirement? Or like because if I pass away and leave it, like who is it going to? Is it going to an organization? So that kind of thing. I think for me, generational wealth, because I do have kids, it does make me think of my children, but it also makes me think of just my family and my community. I had a family member pass away a long, long time ago. This was maybe like 20 or 30 years ago. And they left me like $1,000. And I was like, oh my goodness, right? I was young and irresponsible, so I spent it really quickly, and plus, taxes and the whole thing. But I was just super excited. But now I'm like, I can't leave $1,000 to my kids, can I? Like, what am I supposed to leave? And you fellas know that my dad passed away a couple of years ago, and there was nothing. Like, there's literally nothing. We had to figure out what it looked like to put him to rest, right? Like what it looked like to manage those services. Kind of, there was some drama around that, but whatever. That's not what this episode is about. But so when I'm thinking about generational wealth, I think I'm thinking about my retirement. Like, how can I be as comfortable as possible in my retirement? How can I ride around with Marjane and Mark's private jet that he's leaving? Like, what does that look like? And I'm also thinking, like, what do I leave for my kids? And I'm like, I definitely have some shame around this topic because, like I said to you guys before, Patrice, before you came on the line, I was on a phenomenal path. I was really impressed with myself. But then life starts to happen, and I started to eat away at, different pots of savings that I have. And now I would like to retire in 5 years. If I'm honestly, y'all, I'd like to retire tomorrow. If I'm honest, I would be very happy being able to retire right now. And what does that look like? I can't. So I guess, Patrice, my question to you is, I guess it's broad to start out with. Why should we even save money? What is the purpose of saving money, and how do
Good
we,
question.
if it's important, how do we do it?
Okay. So I think what both of you said is right on point. And obviously, as a financial advisor, I believe that generational wealth involves finances, right? But more importantly, it is a change in your mindset. And I think that's what, honestly, this is just obviously, my opinion, Patrice chapter 4, verse 6, right? We, as generally speaking, as Black people, don't think like Caucasians
Yeah.
in terms of how our families and structure looks like, right? As Mark was talking, I was thinking about I used to work with this young lady. She was someone who was connected to the Haynes family, the underwear Haynes. And she was a trust fund baby. She was a grown 30-something woman, generations down from the actual person who created the company, getting money out of a trust fund from Haynes.
Wow.
And we don't think like that generally, right? You got to be around certain people to even have that vision. And honestly, that's my vision. I have 2 boys and 2 grandchildren right now. I want their family's family to be getting money that started with me. I want them to remember that, oh yeah, college is paid for because the trust fund money that my great great grandmother left is paying for it. That's what I want, because it's the whole point of it is a change in your mindset. That's number one. And you have to, and we have to, I meet with so many people who say things like, well, I don't have any children, so I'm not going to leave anything. Again, like, okay, you don't have nobody in your life? Nobody. Like, you don't have a niece that you could help come up? And then another mindset is, my grandfather said this to me, I'm gone. I don't care what y'all do. Okay, yeah, well, that's true. And, but, that same grandfather had a reverse mortgage on my childhood home that we no longer own, right?
Yeah.
So it really is a mindset. You have to, whether you have children or not, say, you know what, and it has to be in your heart. Like, I'm gonna help somebody else out. So that's one. The other thing is generational wealth could simply mean I'm not gonna leave no debt. How about that? I'm gonna die and this house gonna be paid for. They can figure out what they're gonna do for it, but I have left enough money in my life insurance to pay off this house, the rest of the car payment if I had it, and whatever little loans get me in the ground, have a nice service. So nobody has to scramble to find out where they gotta move to, all that kind of stuff. And that could be the start for somebody, so it really is a mindset. And to go back to our foreparents, like myself and my parents, no one taught us. No one taught us how to put money in the stock market, because that's what I do. I help people get money in the stock market and earn interest, right? That's same thing, Mark, that you said. My grandfather said to me when I first got my job, save money, put your money in the bank. That's the first thing he sent me down to the bank. You got a bank account when I was in college, or actually it was before college, but that's neither here nor there. And save your money, save your money. Never knew what I was saving my money for. Never knew.
That's true.
Never knew. And furthermore, because for me, my maternal and paternal grandfathers had government jobs and they had pensions. And back then, they had old pensions that were close to, if not more than what they were being paid annually. Those pensions don't exist anymore. So they didn't need any savings. They was living their best life off a pension. And again, I'm 30 some years old, just thinking I'm gonna get a pension too. Don't know that, every job doesn't offer a pension. I don't know nothing about nothing. So him saying save, he don't even know why I should save. He just save, right? So it's just the first thing is you said, I mean, that's what generational wealth is a mindset. And then Tamika, you said, why should we even save? Because because of everything I just said, right? Because guess what? You could live too long and not have enough money in the end. I just talked to a gentleman today. His father is 96. He has Alzheimer's. He's in New Jersey, actually. He lives in New Jersey. And him and his two sisters are battling because his father spent all his money and they don't have any money to care for him. The memory facility that his sisters want him to go into is $9,000 a month. But right now they have him in an apartment paying $250 a month. And this man has Alzheimer's. They said they got cameras everywhere and they rotate days to watch him at night because he leaves his apartment and wanders.
Wow.
That's because he don't have no money. Right? And I know that for a fact because my paternal grandfather had Alzheimer's. But again, he had that good old pension.
Yeah.
And he did have some money saved away, and we were able to put him, well, he was able to put himself with his money in one of those memory care facilities that was $9,000 a month. That's real. So that's a reason why you need money. Because healthcare is expensive.
This is true.
Yeah.
It's
Did
not
I
just
tell y'all she gathers me? Did I tell y'all?
We can see why.
Yeah, no, that's real.
It's not just about retirement, but retirement is a part of it, a big part of it.
So Patrice, what does it look like if, Mark, don't even talk to Mark. Mark got a private jet. He good. He good. Talk to Ja and I. And any of the listeners who are, on the second half of life, right? And feeling maybe a little bit dejected, a little bit in shame, a little bit like, what's the purpose now? I wasted all of these years where I could have been doing something, or maybe they're like Tamika and they started out doing the right thing and life hit them over the head a little bit. What do you do now? You're in your 50s. And I know you can't give specific advice, but generally speaking.
Yeah, generally speaking, I would first of all, if you have a so it's I like to say, I'm a person, I help people if they die too soon and live too long, right? Because you need money in both cases, right? So the first thing, in order to build generational wealth, I would make sure you have life insurance. Okay, that's the first thing. And outside of your job, because that right there, a lot of people, I'll just say people, build start off with generational wealth from life insurance. Life insurance, you can get life insurance proceeds. Number one, are tax deductible. So imagine if you pass away and your beneficiaries, they get a lump sum of money and don't have to pay no taxes on, right? Now there's an education process in that, and one thing I do is I definitely talk to my clients' beneficiaries and say, hey, I'm here and we're not just gonna get this lump sum of money and blow it. We're gonna carry this on some kind of way, right? So that's one thing. You have to get a advisor that can help you with that. But get life insurance outside of your job, right? And the next thing to do is make sure if you are working a place that has a employer sponsored retirement plan, make sure you are contributing. And make sure you're contributing. A lot of companies have matches. Make sure you're contributing at least up to the match. So if they say, if you put in 6%, we're going to give you 6%, you need to put in 6%. And for people of our age, right? A lot of people, they hem and haw because number one, if you don't have life insurance outside of your job right now and you're in our age group, you're going to pay a little bit. You're going to pay more and people always like, why is it more? Because you're older. Why do you think? because you about to die. Like, come on. You know, now I don't say that to my clients, but I'm gonna say that to y'all, right? Like, of
Nice.
course, because
It's facts.
we getting closer to
We
punching our
getting
ticket,
closer.
right?
Yeah,
That's
absolutely.
it. We closer. That's
Right.
it.
Right. So that's a recommendation. If you have children, I recommend that you have your children get life insurance now while they're younger, lock in a lower rate and all of that. And that's something, you know, an advisor can tell you, but you know, definitely do that. But you and so I say that to say, guess what? If your goal is generational wealth, you don't have life insurance outside of your job right now, get some. And if it's gonna cause you to pay more, that's a sacrifice you have to make. Unfortunately, we got to bear it. Like, so you would rather say, nah, let them figure it out than have to pay what you have to pay to get life insurance. You know, I tell people all the time, like, it's their choice. But like, so essentially now as an advisor, like most of the times I'm knowing all of their finances. So as an advisor, I'm like, so you're good with spending $200 a month in various subscriptions, but you don't want to get life insurance? Okay, babe.
Facts. Facts.
I got,
Brothers, y'all have questions?
yeah, I have one. Term versus whole life insurance. Term and whole life insurance. What's the difference and what you recommend the person should purchase?
Awesome. That's an awesome question. So full disclaimer, I'm term only. I term only.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the reasons why is the difference between the two of them is whole life has two components to it.
Mm-hmm.
One of the components is actually the life insurance. We call that pure insurance, which is often term insurance. The other component is this savings component to it, right? And normally when you get whole life insurance and you have those two components to it, it is substantially more expensive than just getting term insurance by itself, right?
Yep.
So that's one reason why I don't recommend it. The other reason I don't recommend it is because you can invest yourself, but a lot of people don't have that option because a lot of times they're buying life insurance from someone who's only life insurance licensed.
Mm.
So if I'm only life insurance licensed, I'm going to seduce you, if you will, by saying, "Oh, you can save money for retirement and it can grow and la la la," because that's all you licensed to do, right? But when you work with someone like myself, who is a fully licensed advisor, I can get your money invested in the market and sell you term insurance. Now, as a disclaimer, like I'm saying, the choice is yours. You select your advisor, your insurance agent, and your investment professional how you choose. This is just me. This is how I do business. And sometimes there are some clients where a whole life insurance might work. I personally have not run across that person in my business.
Mm-hmm.
But like, for example, I give you an example where it would work. Like if the three of you said, well, I have a whole life insurance policy that I've had since I was 22 and I'm still paying it now, whatever. And if I look at your finances and I know I can't get you anything cheaper, then I say, hold on to that. Don't let that go.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that would be my advice, right? After I look at it. But generally speaking, I am a term insurance only because it's pure insurance. And one of the ways to look at it is, John, what was your first car you ever had?
Nissan Altima.
Are you still paying car insurance on that Nissan Altima?
No.
Why not?
It got totaled.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And plus you don't have the car. Yeah, it's total because you don't have the car anymore, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So no insurance is permanent. You know, whole life industry tries to make you think that you should be paying life insurance your whole life. It should be permanent. No, because if I work with you, Ja, and you say ultimately my goal for generational wealth is $1 million, let's just say,
Mhm.
and I work with you and you accumulate $1 million, we may sit down and say, okay, well, do you still want life insurance now? Because you got your million, you can, you can live off the interest. We can, put it in a trust. Like, you may not need life insurance. Right. So the choice is yours. Just a caveat. A lot of people, even wealthy people, have life insurance because, again, the proceeds to a life insurance policy are tax-free. So that's an advantage to having life insurance, even if you're wealthy, right? Your beneficiaries don't have to pay the taxes on it. But the point I'm trying to make is that when you have cash, thinking about life insurance is a little different. So you don't need to really think about I needed my whole entire life, like whole life insurance is. Does that make sense? Did I answer your question, John?
100%. Yeah, thank you.
You're welcome.
Yeah, great answers. Mm-hmm.
C1, you have any questions, any thoughts?
Yeah, definitely. For one, Patrice, thank you above all else for your time. So all of us are not right, not wrong. For all of our guests that do come on, we do appreciate you sharing your time with us because we definitely realize that it's valuable and all the insight you're providing. So thank you. We
My pleasure.
appreciate that. So there's three things I wanted to mention. That wasn't first. The second one is I'm trying with all my might to really not ask you about the pay inequality in Hollywood. You understand? Because, like every time I'm looking, I just want to, yeah, man. So you angry at Oprah or what? Y'all gonna fight? Because we don't want to see y'all fight. Like you really look just like her. So
Yeah,
I'm
yeah,
not gonna. I mean, if you want to chime in about pay inequality, you can.
yeah,
But
yeah.
that wasn't gonna
I
be.
wish I had a dog in that fight, but I don't.
But the third thing that I was gonna mention, and maybe a question or just a comment in keeping with that. So I have the 401k for the job that definitely matches. I have early retirement, all those things I'm invested in for years on end. In addition to that, I have a life insurance policy. For some reason, I don't know. I just don't like having this life insurance policy. I don't like paying for it every month. Because for some reason it just seems like it's going to take some time to accrue. I'm not a fan of life insurance. The reason why I got it is more so because of my mom. She had life insurance policies on all three of us, me, my brother, my sister. So as soon as my daughter was born, like every other month, Mark, you got that policy yet? You should think about getting that policy. But when you think you want to get that policy, so I got it. She's the sole beneficiary in regards to that. And
Wait, what? Hold on. Wait, I'm not on that paperwork?
you see what comes out when you invite people.
All right, just go ahead. We'll talk about it later.
Yeah, but like I said, how I feel about insurance, but I guess more so what I wanted to say is more so a comment and um getting my daughter to develop the same mindset that I have in regards to money. You understand and how important it is to have credit and things of that nature. So she got her first credit card shortly before the pandemic. Was my idea was a Discover card because at some point she needed to learn how this works. Her mom was totally against the idea and said, Mark, listen, she's not ready. She's going to blow it. I had more than enough faith in my daughter to say that no, she's not. Mom, yes, she is. We're going back and forth. So my daughter get the card. They started her off with 1,500 just to start. Okay. So within 3 months, she spent about 1,200 of that. Just blew through it, right? So her mom, like, listen, I told you this was going to happen. What you going to do? So to me, the way I looked at it was more so like that was the lesson that she needed to learn. She needed to learn that now she needed to pay it back. So I paid the balance on it, right? I said, I'm only going to do that one time. If you do this again, then that's on you. You need to pay all of that back. So my question more so as opposed to the comment is, how can I get her to have that mindset and importance of all these things at this age, life insurance, credit, investing, stock, 401k at the job, healthcare, looking for a job with benefits, as opposed to when we learned it later on in our lives?
That's a great question. Okay, so I'm gonna answer it. I'm gonna tell a little story.
Mm-hmm.
I did like a road show, if you will, and I went around to local schools here in my area and met with and did like a lunch and learn with some teachers. And one thing that stood out to me the most was that a lot of the Caucasian teachers, when I would talk to them about this, they would say, "Oh, yeah, I already have a financial advisor." I was like, "Oh, great." So, I'm a follow-up question. "Oh, okay. How did you get your financial advisor?" And they would say, "Oh, he's my parents' financial advisor." Okay. And that was consistent. So I just share that to say that to help your daughter, you need to connect her with a financial advisor. And have her sit down with a professional that can help her, because the job of a financial advisor, most of the times my clients, I tell people, we in a relationship, because that's what it is.
Pretty
This
much.
is not just me today talking to you and going through your finances. We talk at least annually. You call me when you get questions. I got my 401 paperwork. I'll understand. Okay, let's Zoom. Let's look at it. Let me come over, whatever the case may be. And that's the role of a financial advisor. That's why if you ever see these commercials about, financial advisors, it's like a long term. Like you see the people sitting with them with the baby and then graduation, because they are painting the picture that this is not a one and done. This is a lifetime of we walking you through. So that would be my advice that for her, to find a financial advisor. And I would be remiss to say that I'm available if you want me to meet with her. That's fine. I'd be happy to do that. But the other thing is, I also want to say that this about the credit. I don't think that was a bad move. Now, what I might have recommended is that she started off with a secure credit card. So daddy doesn't have to do that every time. So that means that if you're unfamiliar with a secure credit card, it's basically the bank saying, okay, put up at least half in cash and we put it in this account. And so, for example, if you have $1,000 credit card, you need to have $500 right here at all times. They won't let you touch it. It just, so if push comes to shove, they'll at least get 500. And that's what I share with people, especially for young adults, because I don't think that they just like we didn't.
Of
like
course.
when I was in college, I had a girlfriend that worked for Citibank. She sent me a $5,000 credit card
Oh,
in
gosh.
college. Why would she do that?
Why?
So yeah, we ain't know no better. So
Yeah, lesson learned.
lesson learned.
Wow.
Thank you.
You're more than welcome.
What did you do with that $5,000 limit on that credit card?
Okay, so I'm glad you asked. So when I was in college, I was also in I forgot what we called it, but I was in a fashion show, the group that did fashion shows. I don't know. And it just so happened that I got that credit card a little bit before the fashion show. So I went and bought this full-length leather coat that I spent way too much for, but I still have it. It's actually downstairs. And this silk sequence dress that I spent way too much money for, and just some other things. Like I had sneakers. I just was pointing them on,
Nice.
swipe. Well,
Balling out. Balling out.
Balling out, balling out with that 5,000 that she should not have sent me. So yeah, that's
But
what I
you were popping though. You were popping for that fashion
listen. When
show.
I came in that fashion show, they was like, "Wow!" I was doing it. I was doing it.
Yeah, I bet they thought you were doing runs up and down 95 too, right?
Well,
They were like,
they kind of thought that, because I didn't say, but I'm from Baltimore, right? So they kind of thought that anyway. So it just made it happen. Yeah.
Wow. All right. Thank you, Patrice. Any
You're more than
final
welcome.
words that you feel like you need to make sure you share with us before we close out tonight?
Sure. I will say thank you all again for inviting me. I really appreciate it. And this topic is so near and dear to my heart because I do think our generation, we were we were left in the dark, and not intentionally by our parents and
Mm-hmm.
grandparents because they didn't know anything, right? I say that our children should be the wealthiest generation in this country because social media has a whole bunch of information out there about how to build wealth, how to, be in the gig economy, all these kind of things. So all I will say to that is get that information, but also, do your research, talk with someone who's licensed, and can steer you in the right direction because, yeah, it's a lot of information out there. It's exciting and scary at the same time, but they definitely have more information than we ever had.
Big,
Yeah.
big facts.
Yeah.
Facts. And the landscape, as you know, a few of you already kind of mentioned, the financial landscape keeps changing because when we were young, it was get a government job with a pension, work that job until retirement, and you'll be straight.
Done. Just like
And
that.
that changed right underneath our feet. And we're trying to catch up. And we were taught, let's go to the bank, get you a bank account, save your money. Save money for what? No, we never knew, but
Yeah, just
save the
save it.
money.
Exactly.
Save the
Yeah,
money.
get a job at the post office or
Yep.
go in the military.
Yep.
Yeah, get that pension and then that's it.
Yep.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's a good analogy too, Tamika, because it did change under our feet for real. Like, and it was like slow but fast all at the same time. Like it, because that was the thing. But at that time, that's what I mean about my grandfathers, both of them. At that time when most of us were probably graduating from high school and going to college, at that time, many pension systems were changing right at that time. They were changing so that, like, you had to contribute then because back in the day, a lot of pensions you didn't have to, those people, my grandfathers probably didn't pay anything towards their pension, right? So right when that was happening for us, they changed it where people had to pay and then they were changing it more. And now the changes, these kids, the only way you can get a pension is work for the government for the
Yeah.
most part, because a lot of places don't have them anymore like there was before. But anyway,
Yeah.
I'm gonna stop
And
talking.
Social Security is disappeared right underneath us. I remember I feel like I used to see TV commercials about going to the bank, opening a bank account, you get a toaster or a blender, and this is the APR for your savings account. The APR on savings accounts it's trash right now. It is absolutely trash. And so yeah, but we got to keep up. And this is it's a I feel like it's a community mindset. The other thing, I know we're going over a little bit long, but
It's all right.
um
It's
we're just gonna have
knowledge,
to
man.
we're gonna have to
Definitely.
ask the station to extend us a little bit this week. But
Mm-hmm.
um I think another thing that stands out to me thinking about generational wealth is also community wealth. How it feels to me, I don't know if this is true or not, but the story that I tell myself is that some other cultures will join their money together. You
Oh, that's
have a
not a story.
hundred, you have 100. We don't seem to
That's the
do
thing.
that.
That's
That's
not a story. That is not a story. That is fact.
That
yeah.
is fact.
That is fact. It's what I will just say this one thing about and I do not recommend this. I do not recommend this. I do not recommend this, but I'm gonna use this as an example because it came up in 2020 when we were all locked in. I know each of you got somebody or knew somebody that was doing those flowers or the susu and all that, right?
Yeah, yeah,
Okay,
Oh,
right?
yeah.
Now,
definitely.
right. So I know a young lady, she lives in Philly and she's Jamaican. And she was able to buy her house in Philly because when she came here, she worked for a hotel in housekeeping. And there were some I think Hispanics, was they weren't black or whatever, but they were doing a similar thing. And actually there's a place in New York that created a nonprofit that does this. And if I'm gonna find it and text it to you, Tamika, just so you know. But what she did, that she overheard them talking one time. I think they were Hispanic, but that's not too. But anyway, so they were doing their form of susu, and what they were doing was, contributing in, and each person was pulling out. As a result of that, she was able to obtain a down payment for a house in Philly. And this was, I think, late 80s, early 90s. So that is an example of how people of other cultures do stuff, especially when they come over to America, because they support each other. And sometimes it's difficult for them to get into the banking system. Now, obviously, it wasn't like the Susu flower thing that everybody was, you know, um, you know, putting out there in 2020. But when it happened, it caused me to, investigate what this is and what's the source of it. And lo and behold, other cultures do that. And I have a sneaking suspicion that here, at least here in Baltimore, Koreans do that, because there are so many Korean stores, and specifically where I'm living right now, it's like Asia Pacific, because it's not only Chinese and Koreans, but Indians are building up and having stores and all this. I am convinced that they are helping finance one another. So yeah, we don't do that, because there's Tamika, as a mental health professional, that there's a whole pathology of why we don't do that with ourselves, right? But the point of it is, other people do it. That is not a mystery. That is true.
Yeah.
So the lady that you were talking about, that you said she had enough money to put the down payment, was this a Ponzi scheme, or this was
No,
legitimate?
no, it's different cultures. They may not all call it susu, but they basically help finance themselves in the same
Okay,
way that the
okay.
susu would do. Like, she was committing her money every month or whatever, and the people who were in it was pulling out when they needed to pull out. And when she was able to pull out her money, she used it as a down payment on her house.
But at that time, it was enough for her to be able to pull
Yes.
out. So it
Yes.
had amassed a lot of money.
Yes. Yes.
Oh,
Because
wow. Okay.
the way they do it, the ones who are serious about it, who are really doing it from a culture perspective. I have a cousin whose husband is Jamaican as well. They put in $1,000 a month. And it could, I don't know. I know in her group is more than 10 people.
Wow.
So that's already $10,000.
Yeah. My mom would do
And they
susus
commit
for
to it.
Christmas presents, but that's all we got was Christmas presents.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Yeah. My mom would do susus at her job all the time, but I guess the amount was a lot smaller.
Yeah. It's very tricky, because, like, again, I was asking around once I found out people really do this, right? And you have to be in a group of people that, number one, you trust and serious. Because again, my friend in Philly, she's Jamaican, or is she Trinidadian? Something. She's from the islands, right? But I know that the group she was in was not her same ethnicity, because there was this whole, like, are you gonna be about your business?
Yeah.
And she kind of had to fight her way into it. So, and she got in, and I learned that in 2020 with the whole susu. I was like, oh, wow. Like, yeah. So to this day, it still happens. Cause like I said, my cousin and her husband, they do it to this day. And I'm an advisor, and I'm her advisor, and I'm, trying to help her do some things, but she like, no, this $1,000 got to go to this. Oh, so,
Wow.
yep, they out there doing it. It's just us. Let me qualify my statements, because I don't mean that about us. I mean, but we have so much
Mistrust.
history and pain from this country,
Yeah.
from our
Yeah.
history,
Yeah.
that it was all designed for us not to work together. So here we are.
Post-traumatic
Yeah.
stress syndrome.
Yeah, post-traumatic stress disorder.
Yep.
Yeah.
Indeed.
Trying to figure it out. We're doing it though. We're doing it step by step.
Yes.
So So thank you, everybody. Thank you so much, Patrice of the Right Advice LLC, financial advisor. Please reach out 410-800-4428. I feel like I should have sung it, so could have been a jingle. Licensed
Go
in
ahead, sing it,
13
D1. Go ahead and sing it.
410-800. I can't sing, but licensed in 13 states. Do you want to run down the 13 states real quick?
Oh, sure. Let me get my cheat sheet.
Okay.
wait a minute. So Maryland, Texas, New York, North Carolina, South Carolina, Virginia, Arkansas, Georgia, Delaware, Indiana, New Jersey, Ohio, and DC.
There you go. All the places where Black people like to be. Thank you very
Black
much.
people.
There you go. Where we all at?
All
Yeah.
of that.
Yeah.
Thank you, Ja. Thank you, C1.
For sure.
We dove into this topic of generational wealth. 92.6, the spot, WKPB. Did I get it right? WKBP.
Yeah,
Okay,
WKBP.
WKBP.
Yeah.
Each week from 6 p.m. to 7 p.m. Please tune in. Find us on social media, like, subscribe, share. Sharing is caring, good people.
Indeed.
And
Thank
to that, we say au revoir.
Au revoir. Thank you again, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you.